Hi, I'm Tealish, and you're watching Coffee and Clicks. Today we're joined by Brian Galley and Kennie Peña, and we're going to be doing our DC Heroclix Batman team-up set review. But this time we're going to do it a little differently than we usually do it. We're going to do a set review draft. So what we're going to be doing is drafting and discussing our top 3 figures in each rarity. Except for the chases, we'll do 2 because there's a limited amount of chases. We'll do it as a, kind of just like a fantasy football draft. We will pick which figures kind of stand out to us, and we'll talk about them. Well, let's see. I guess the drafting order that we'll do is we'll start with me at the top left of your screen, and then we'll go to Brian, and then we'll go to Kenny, and then we'll snake draft it back to Kenny, and then back to Brian, and then back to me.
Little Freudian slip there. Start with the top with you. I like how you phrase that. Yeah.
So it's just the way it worked out, Kenny. No, okay. So
it's all good. It's all good.
So all right. So let's start. I'm gonna do my first pick for the commons. Let's do the commons first. My first pick is gonna be Scooby-Doo, set number 002. He has 8 speed with charge, 11 attack with quake, 17 defense with super senses, 3 damage with probability control. He's got traded shape change. When he uses it and succeeds this turn, friendly characters with the mystery ink keyword can use toughness. That includes himself. So if he hits his shape change, he then gets toughness for the rest of the turn. What do you guys think about this? I mean, do you think it's a good pick for a common do you think that's a good pick?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, he's cheap probability control. Shape change senses is hard to hit. I mean, but not by meta star by any means, but as far as rounding out a sealed team, there's hard pick to find a better common.
Yeah, I agree. For 50 points, 6 clicks of health. Brian hit all the notes there. Prop, super senses, shape change. A thing that I like to do is I always like to see what powers are kind of prevalent at the lower rarities and the higher rarities that kind of help you guide what you want to do. This set has a lot of outwit. So the more rollouts, the more powers that are outwit worthy on a character, the better, because there's only so many things you can target. And Scooby-Doo is a wonderful example here where, there's props, super senses, a shape change, and then, charge and quake. So he has the offensive weapons, he has the defensive weapons, a nice little package. That's a wonderful common to select for sealed.
Yeah, the reason why I selected him is because, he can be a good attacker. He has the charge and the quake. He has good values. He has 2 rollouts, and he has prob. And in sealed, you definitely want prob. And there are not that many figures in the set that have prob for sealed, but there are, like Kenny said, there's a lot of outwit. So having those 2 rollouts really makes him handy, because you can only outwit. Usually you can only outwit one or the other unless you have double outwit. Yeah. So. All right, so let's go to Brian. And Brian, what's your pick? What's your next pick for the commons?
Yeah, speaking of outwit, got to go with Common Batgirl. Coming in, 45 points, Batman Alley, Titans. Top tile, she starts with outwit, but you could run her at 20 points instead and have her start with perplex. The real neat thing about her, though, is her trait. My cape looks like a bat. Friendly characters with Teen Titans have Batman Ally. I mean, this set is full of Titans, and a lot of them are pretty good. Giving your potentially entire team stealth for 20 points, not bad at all.
Yeah, Kenny, do you have anything? Do you have anything to say about Batgirl? I mean, I totally agree with what Brian's saying.
Again, when you're looking at sealed, a 2 booster sealed, 3 rounds at your local store, there's not going to be many super rares and chases floating around. Most of the Titans, if not actually all of the Titans, except for Cyborg, there you go. I knew I was forgetting one, are CURs, meaning they're going to be prevalent. You pull 2 or 3 of them with a Batgirl, that's a lot of stealth. There's a decent amount of stealth busting, not too much, but still, that's something that it's a hurdle they have to overcome. Also, 20-point perplex, how can you go wrong with that? 45-point outwit with decent stats. That's not too bad either. If you need to fill points out, I think that's another great selection.
Yeah, don't forget. If you're watching, and you're a beginner in the game, one of the best combos that you can learn right away is stealth and combat reflexes because a character with stealth, it's kind of hard to target them with range attacks. They're usually hiding and hindering, and you won't be able to target them. And then if you try to come up close to them and use close attacks on them, the combat reflexes boost their defense, so it makes them extremely hard to get rid of, makes them pesky from either range or close. And so Batgirl with the Outwit or the Perplex and that stealth and combat reflexes makes her, not just an easy KO by any means.
Brian, judge question.
Sure.
I have a wild card. Wild cards, the Titan's ability. Does the trait work?
It does not. Right. It's not friendly characters that can use Titans. It's friendly characters that have Titans. So it needs to be printed on their dial that they have the Teen Titans team ability.
There's enough wild card in this set where it's worth bringing up.
Although you could just wild card the Batman ally offer.
So Kenny, what would be your pick for the commons?
Okay. Well,
your first pick.
Okay, my first pick, I'm gonna have to go with my boy, Mr. Ascot himself, Fred. Common Fred. Yep.
Good choice.
So he's 50 points. He's packing some sidestep, which not a whole lot of sidestep in this set. Some leadership, which is always a good thing. 18 defend. That's never bad. And then he's got TK, which is also another great power. It's been a while since we had a set that had low rarity TK for a sealed. It's been a while. There's actually two in this one. I think Raven also is another one. But I do feel like Fred's bringing a little bit more to the table because he's driving that mystery machine. He's carrying 4 passengers, and he does a lot. He does a lot for his points. He has 6 clicks of health. And towards the back end, if you do hit him, that 18 defend is steady, strong, and he has support. So now he's healing you back up. Other injured characters on your force. He's no joke. You see Fred, you are likely playing Fred.
Yeah, plus when you hit him, if you hit him on that back end of his dial, he's 11 for 3. So he's not hitting. He's no joke offensively either. So, but what you're using him for really is that TK and the sidestep carry, because the sidestep just makes your team so mobile for him to carry 4 and then be able to sidestep and free place 4 characters anywhere you want. Gives your team so much mobility. So, not to be confused with Uncle Fred. If anybody's seen the Scott Crampton the New Orleans tournament that they're having out there, yeah, not to be confused with Uncle Fred. But
yeah.
So Kenny, you have another pick because you are we're
rounding up in third. Yep.
So what are you gonna go with next?
So I picked Fred because I actually pulled him in my pre-release and my release, and I had a lot of fun with him. I knew he was good beforehand, so I got to play with him. So I'm going to pick a character that I got to go up against, who I knew was good, and then when I actually went up against him, was surprisingly better than I thought it was, and that's going to be 013 Clayface. Clayface at 50 points actually gives you 7 clicks. Doesn't have mobility, straight invulnerability, but we just talked about how there's a lot of outwit in this set. He has a shape change that you can outwit. Plus, if he succeeds, he's making a duplicate. It's not common. See what I did there? It's not common when a common can generate a bystander, and he is the exception. Now, the bystander doesn't have that shape change power, but that's still a 10-3 plasticity body that you have to get through. So this Clayface for 50 points requires so much, dedication to move around, because he just wants to tie you up. He wants to hit his shape changes, and top dial, he's hitting for 4 damage. Another thing you don't see very often on common figures. Thankfully, he's not super mobile, but if he gets in your face and you can't hit him, he's going to hit you very, very hard.
Brian, what do you think?
So, I got nothing but thumbs up on that Clayface. He is a phenomenal steal pick. I lost a game because he just tied me up and kept hitting those shape changes and punishing the bystanders for even daring to attack him.
Yeah.
He is a nasty figure.
No, I agree. He's just your perfect tie-up figure. For 50 points, you got 7 clicks of health, with invulnerable the entire dial and shape change protected outwit the entire dial. That's pretty hardy for 50 points. Plus the fact that he's got plasticity just makes him like the perfect tie-up piece.
Mm-hmm.
And he generates bystanders, so
yeah,
like it's crazy. All right, so Brian, over to you for your second pick. What do you have for your second pick?
So yeah, speaking of that Clayface with his Batman enemy team ability, my second pick is Harley Quinn. The 008 comes in at either 50 points or 25 points. In either case, she starts with Perplex. She's got the Batman enemy and Suicide Squad team abilities, and her trait on the run gives friendly characters with Batman enemy Suicide Squad. Now, Suicide Squad is a team ability we haven't seen much of lately. But just to refresh everyone's memory, whenever a character adjacent to the Suicide Squad character gets KO'd, Suicide Squad character gets to roll a d6, subtract 2 from the result, and heal equal to the result, minimum of 1. So they're healing between 1 and 4 clicks every time an adjacent friendly character gets KO'd. She's really cheap support. There's plenty of Batman enemies in this set, just like the Clayface we went over. And every time one of their friendly characters, Jason, gets KO'd, they heal. You pull her, you run her with Clayface, all of those bystanders he pops out, start healing him back up for the attacks he didn't change out of. It's silly.
Yeah. Kenny, anything else to add about Harley?
I mean, I did get to play with her, and she definitely punched up above her weight. I know she only has 2 damage, but Quake in this set where you're going to be playing a lot of characters that are low dial plus constructs. As silly as it sounds, Quake is valuable, and she provides it to you at 20 at both lines. But I feel like her best line is 25. You want to, the value you get for the 50 for the 3 extra clicks. I'm not going to say it's not worth it, but if you can get it at 25, why spend the extra 25? Do something else. Right. But let's see, if you need that depth, 50 is not bad either.
Yeah,
but I agree with everything that Brian said. And nothing else to add.
Yeah, she also does pick up blades and exploit on a couple of clicks too. So I mean, yeah, she gets tapped. She hits back hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this Harley Quinn because just 25 points for Perplex is just good and solid and sealed for sure. And also just a funny note. Also, I just noticed because I was at home trying to put together Batman enemy theme teams just for fun, and I have the Harley and Ivy. This one here, the Legacy card. The Harley and Ivy. But her new Legacy card, it says that when she gets KO'd, she I guess kind of splits into 2, and you can generate a Poison Ivy and a Harley Quinn, and both Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn could add up to the same number of points. And it's funny because they kind of pop out in their prison jumpsuits, so it's it's kind of thematic.
Nice.
All right, so let's see. It's my turn. I'm gonna pick. Who do I have to pick from? Let's take a look at the commons. I'm gonna go with Shaggy. Shaggy is set number 003. He's got 8 speed with running shot, 4 range with a single target, 11 attack, 17 defense with energy shield deflection, 3 damage with perplex. He's got traded super senses. When Shaggy uses it and succeeds this turn, friendly characters with the Mystery Inc. keyword can use combat reflexes. I think there's just a lot of synergy there because he has the ESD, so you're most likely trying to attack him up close. And then if he hits that super senses, then anybody else that comes in up close on him is going to be facing that combat reflexes because he gives it to himself as well as other Mystery Inc. keyword figures. Just having traded super senses, his whole dial is great. The fact that he has perplex is great because it makes him a decent support figure. Plus, he can be a decent attacker because he has that running shot and 11 attack, 3 damage. So that's why I like Shaggy. What do you think, Brian?
Yep. Moment, sorry. Yeah, the perplex really just brings it home for me. He's got the great values. The regen is always nice, but you're running him for the perplex. The real good thing is that he's a detective character with perplex, so he syncs up with all those mystery cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That will save meta play, but for kitchen table or sealed, the Shaggy's pretty swell.
Yeah. Also worth noting, he just really synergizes very well with Scooby-Doo, where if one hits a shape change, toughness for everyone. The other one hits super senses, combat reflexes. So they're just giving each other exactly what they need or what one has in the other. So thematically it hits home, and actual play wise it's effective, and they're both comics.
Yeah.
Okay. My next choice, I guess, because I have another choice.
Yep.
I will pick for commons. Think I want. Let's go with Batman. Batman. He has 4. Well, he's either 75 points or 50 points. He's set number 014. He has the Batman ally and team player team abilities, so he can copy another or wildcard another team ability from another character. He has 4 range with 2 targets, 8 speed with running. 8 speed with charge, 11 attack, 18 defense with combat reflexes, 3 damage with perplex. He has a rally trait, rally 3 all friendly attack rolls. Free, remove one of Batman's rally dice to choose a friendly character within range and line of fire. Until your next turn, the chosen character has safeguard opposing perplex. So that's pretty good. The rally is a pretty good ability. I'm really running him also for the perplex. Also the fact that he has and I most likely in my in the events that I've already played, I ran him at 50 points. But he could be decent at 75 points as well. He basically has the same values at 50 and 75. But the fact that he can hide in stealth and be a tough KO because of his combat reflexes, and that he's got the perplex, he can charge in there to do an attack. He has 2 targets, which is helpful. So I think he's pretty useful.
Oh yeah, I ran him in my release day event at 75. The perplex and the team player made him just the cornerstone of my team, and he puts out decent enough damage that he could, kind of hold down a secondary attacker role. And like mentioned with Shaggy, detective with perplex, syncs great with all those Mystery Inc. mystery cards. There's also Batman family, which has their own class of mystery cards too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that Batman was my third pick. Brian, what's your third pick?
So my third pick would have to be, and I had it up and I just clicked off of it. We're going to have to go with Kid Flash. So Teen Titans, 50 points. He will synergize with all the other Titans in the set, and there's a handful of pretty good ones. But he's a cheap hypersonic. Can attack, not bad, but nothing amazing either. 3 damage. His damage special, though, that he has in his first 3 clicks is Poaching the Titans. Free, roll a d6 on a 5 or 6. Remove an action token from an adjacent friendly character that's less points than Kid Flash or that he shares a keyword with. Keywords are Speedster and Teen Titans. So he's just a solid supporting figure for any Titans you pull in sealed. Zips around the map, gets some attacks in, and then clears tokens off the rest of your team after he comes back.
Yes. Kenny, what do you think about Kid Flash?
I like him. I got to play with him a little bit myself. He did get KO'd quite fast, and that's just sometimes that's just the way it goes. However, the potential is there. 9 movement, hypersonic speed, pseudo leadership that is not, chained down to the beginning of the turn is always useful. There's a lot of Titans that he shares keywords with in this set, so for sealed, that's amazing. Also, it could be less points, which there are plenty of characters that are under 50 points in this set, so the synergy is really there. I think he's a good sneaky attacker. Anytime you get cheap hypersonic that could do 3 damage, and everything else is just gravy.
Yeah, I mean he can use that pseudo leadership power after his hypersonic, like Brian was saying. So that's really great. Even if you're just one of those players that forgets to roll leadership,
Yes.
I feel like that helps you out a little bit. Also, like I was playing Kid Flash in an online game, just practicing with the new set, and he was just killing me. My opponent ran 2 of them, and he was just quaking after quake, and he was rolling like 9s and 10s. I was like, "Who is it? Is this like Sky Tyrant or is this Kid Flash?" Like I didn't know, so. So Kid Flash, don't sleep on Kid Flash. I mean, his 10 attack values might fool you because they're low attack values, but he's got a lot of value for what he does.
And we've touched on it already. There's a lot of cheap perplex in these commons. You very likely have your Batman or your Harley Quinn jumping up that attack value a little bit before you send them in.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so Kenny, your third choice for the commons.
This is difficult because I'm looking at all the commons and they're really good. Like not a single one here is like, oh God, awful. You could look at Moss and for 25 points what he does. And sure, is he 125 points someone else? Probably not, but he brings something to the table. But if we're going to choose only one, and this is my third pick, I guess, it's between Superman and Wonder Woman, honestly. I'm gonna have to go with Superman because, it's Superman. It's a Superman with team player too, which that's not something you get very often. He has 5 range. He has destroy blocking on movement. He has the Arctic Breath, which apparently when you hit with a range attack, they can't use stop or mobile. So keeping the characters in place like Kid Flash or all these hypersonic pieces or Fred or anyone, keeping them in place so they can't move on top of the damage he's dealing is huge. If you go up against someone with the stop click, Darkseid, he can help you get past them relatively quick. And then he has a rally where it's a rally 1. So if you roll and you get a 1, you're rolling badly, or you get lucky, you roll a 7, there's a 6-1 and you hit. You can start removing action tokens from friendly characters within range. And Brian is a character friendly to himself.
Of course.
All right. So Superman can keep on going. So you could play him at 150. You could play him at 50. You could play him at 75. I actually think the 150 line is worth it. He brings enough of a punch. And that's not to say that the other lines are not worth it either. But if you do have him and you have the point to spare and you have really good utility, play him at 150. That's quite scary.
Brian, what do you think?
I can't really add much to what Kenny said. He is just a phenomenal figure. Decent point value, hits hard. I mean, this Superman will just dominate any sealed game you pull him in.
Yeah. I don't think there's much left to say about Superman. I mean, he's Superman, so.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the uncommon. So we've drafted. So before we go on, we've drafted. We've each drafted 3 commons. There are other good figures in this set. I'd like to just come out and say that the Batman team up set is just really good all around. There are a lot of honorable mentions that we probably missed. But this, we picked the top 9 commons, and like we said, Moss, Wonder Woman, those were all good commons as well. So, now let's jump in to the, I'll just show up on the screen. I'll show what commons we drafted. And then okay, now let's take a look at the uncommons. And
my ghost, right?
I would say so. Yeah.
I'd say it's Kenny's
All right,
ghost.
well.
So
Yeah.
Kenny, your pick on the uncommons.
So, just like the commons, there's a lot of really good uncommons here. I'm happy to play with almost any figure from this set. But if I have to choose one uncommon above all of them, it's my girl. It's Jinx. You get her at 40 points, 6 clicks, Mystics, Titans, just like Batgirl, who hands out Batman TA to all the Titans. She hands out Mystics. That is obnoxious and not fun to deal with. Let's just pretend that she didn't. She's a 40-point probber with super senses on Mystics on her own, which is still phenomenal. So the fact that she could just share the love with everyone else, well, not everyone, Titans, which we already discussed. There's a lot of low rarity Titans. It's not very hard to do. So she is my number one choice by far for the uncommons. I love this girl.
Yeah, Brian, what do you think?
Oh, I gotta give it to it's a solid figure, but you know what's really good for dealing with Mystics? My number one uncommon pick of Poison Ivy.
Okay, all right. All right.
So, comes in at either 50 points or 25 points. 50-point line, which is the one line I prefer her at. Starts with an attack power. Careful, boys, I bite. Poison, but deals damage even if moved or placed this turn. She also has a trait that gives friendly character with Batman enemy stealth, which is great. We went over Batgirl. Solid. But that attack special. Now, we've seen and constructed, Maggot has made a big splash. Be able to get carried out across the map, poison the opponent's team. I'm not saying she's on Maggot's level, but she has Maggot's trick. If you're looking for a budget figure that can approximate one of the best strategies in Modern right now, you got Poison Ivy.
Yep.
Even in Sealed, really good. Free damage is always a good thing to have.
Mm-hmm. It is worth noting that she does not start with that on her 25-point line. You have to play her at 50 if you want it. But
that is correct. Yeah, 25, you just got regular old poison, mind control, combat reflexes, and exploit. Not bad, especially for giving the stealth trait to your team. But yeah, 50 points is where the money's at on her, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Poison Ivy is she's really good. I mean, I have her. I'm looking at both dials. She does give out stealth, which is great. But yeah, I think the 50-point line is where you want to play her.
Yep.
I still take Jinx.
Yeah.
Jinx is great because Jinx is the other character that I was talking about with Prob in the I guess in the lower rarities.
Yeah.
That if you're playing sealed, you definitely want her because of the Prob, and then also she gives out Mystics, which is crazy. So a lot of Teen Titans in the set, but both Poison Ivy's great too. You could just carry her up and say, okay, take one. And if you have somebody with a lot of figures in the set also don't have reducers, so
right.
There's a lot of combat reflexes, a lot of super senses, a lot of shape change, but not a lot of like toughness, invulnerable, and stuff like that. So
yep.
So let's see. My pick for uncommons would be I'm gonna go with Elastigirl.
Okay.
Elastigirl. I just think she's a solid attacker. For 60 points, she has 10 speed with the charge, so it's pretty good reach. She has Giant Reach 4, so 10 speed with Giant Reach 4, and then she's got Quake, and then she has Invincible on her top dial, which I know you can outwit that, but she's also got Shape Change, so. You have to.
Right.
so she has two things that you might want to outwit from her. So she's not an easy KO, and she's only 60 points. She's dealing out. She can do the Quake, or she could do 3 damage, and she has the Outsiders team ability, which is great. I mean, I'm not too familiar with. I kind of don't have a lot of experience with the Outsiders team ability. Can Brian, maybe you want to refresh my memory?
Oh yeah, sure. So Outsiders is a free action with a minimum range of 6. You choose a character within range and line of fire. Until your next turn, that character's combat values cannot be modified.
Yep.
Just emphasis on modified. They can still be replaced. So things like running shot or charge will still have your speed. Pulse wave will still have your range. But yeah, no more perplexing getting up your combat values. They have combat reflexes or ESD. You can Outsiders them and not get denied in their defense bump. There's a lot of things Outsiders shuts down.
That's a two-way street, by the way. That's positive and negative as well. So
right.
If you Outsiders yourself and you have combat reflexes, you are not gaining the benefit from your combat reflexes, but you're preventing your opponent from perplexing you down further. So it's not a blanket, in your favor completely.
That was going to be my next point: is you can Outsiders yourself too. So you can,
right.
Yeah. So I mean, with Elastigirl, it makes sense for her to do that because she doesn't really have anything that's modified right off the bat, at least on her first half of her dial. So
yeah, but I mean, if your opponent's rocking like the emotional modifier to give you -1 attack or free smoke cloud, same thing. You can Outsiders yourself to strip that away.
Yeah,
it's also uncopyable. I'm not sure if you said that.
Oh, it did not, but good to note. This is one of the uncopyable team abilities,
and for good reason because of how flexible it is. And Tony, I don't think you mentioned that she can regen for free if she's been damaged since your last turn. So with that invincible and shape change, if she takes damage, you have a shot to get right back onto it.
Yeah, I mean, if she does,
yeah.
If your opponent doesn't have Outwit up top, they need to plug a couple hits into her to get her past those invincible clicks, or else she's just going to heal right back to top click. They can't diddle around with ping you one with a precision strike or something. They gotta really focus on her to pump that damage in because she'll just whoop back up if they only hit her once.
Yep.
Okay. My next pick is gonna be because it's coming back around to me, so I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick the Penguin.
Ooh.
The Penguin, I think he's more useful in constructed, but he's also good in sealed. He gives he's 50 points or 25 points. He gives friendly characters with the Batman enemy team ability. He gives them the Underworld team ability. And the Underworld team ability allows you to carry around other figures. I believe it's if they share a keyword, you can carry one you can carry one figure, and if they share a keyword and are of lower points, then you can carry 2 figures as long as they're both lower points.
That is correct. Yep.
So so he has that himself, and then he gives everybody that with the Batman enemy team ability that ability also. So it gives you a lot of mobility, especially if you're building a Gotham Underworld. Gotham City Underworld theme team. He's got the 8 speed with running shot, 11 attack, precision strike. He does have shape change top dial for 25 points. I don't think he has the shape change, but he still has some pretty decent stats. He also has a team up card that is really good. I don't know if we're bringing team up cards into the mix here, but
may as well.
His team up
it's one
card,
of the better ones for sure. Yeah.
I think this is definitely one of the better ones. If the Penguin is part of a listed theme team, at the beginning of your turn, roll a d6, and the Penguin can use the resulting effect until your next turn. 3 through 5 characters without Underworld team ability can't carry more than one character, and 6, if you roll 6, characters without the that Underworld team ability can't carry. So you can do that every turn. And the fact, if you're playing Batman enemy theme team or Gotham City Underworld theme team with a bunch of Batman enemy characters, and you're giving them all the Underworld team ability, then your team has a lot of mobility, and then you're using this team up card. Their team does not have a lot of mobility. So you're taking away their mobility, and you still have mobility on your team. So it's just a really good combination right there.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that was my pick. What do you think, Brian? What's your next pick for uncommons?
So yeah, my next uncommon pick would have to be uncommon Catwoman, 029. She comes in at either 50 points or 25 points. 50 points starts off with charge, senses, outwit. The 25 line is flurry blades and reflexes. She's got Batman ally, underworld, improved movement elevated, and a trait that's precision strike. When she hits, roll a d6 on a 3 through 6, unequip a hit character. So in sealed, probably not that big a deal, but she's cheap enough that a lot of teams I think are going to find a little way just to wiggle her on in. Equipment is a big deal. If you can take away the equipment linchpin that holds your opponent's team together, make them waste actions getting it back, or even just follow it up with a TK to steal it away from them, she will definitely be worth her points. She also has a team up as well, which gives her the Batman family theme team. And if she's on the theme team, characters that share a keyword with her have team player, which, I mean, her team abilities, Batman ally, pretty much they're all going to have that already. But Underworld, for that's the same reason as the Penguin, she gives your whole team a lot more mobility. And Batman ally has a lot of fun tools right now, especially with the mystery cards. So we might start seeing her poking up on some teams, I think.
Kenny, what do you think about
also to be said, you can be equipped and sealed.
This is true.
So she has some playability with that trait. It's not going to happen very often, but when it does, she's ready.
Yeah.
But no, listen. She's for 25 points, even with the flurry and blades. It's a low cost investment to set her up because she's not moving, attacking on her own. But if she gets in there and she survives, or she's ignored for 25 points, potential of dishing out 12 damage. That's I think she's earning her points there. So I think she's a great call out.
Yeah, she's done some work for me in Seal too. I mean, she's with the outwit and the potential to carry other figures. I think she's just really good right there. And she's not an easy KO either. She's got the senses, and then she gets combat reflexes, stealth on the back end of her dial. So she can definitely be a nuisance. Okay, so Kenny, it's your turn. What do you have for the uncommons?
So I got two. I got two
right
here.
Yep.
And just like the commons, man, there's so many good ones here. But the first of two that I'm going to go over first is going to be number 18, Robot Man.
Ooh.
And I feel like at 50, he's okay, but you want to play him at 100. That is a deep dial, 9 clicks. He has charge. There's some clicks where he has no move and attack, but he has a wonderful trait, which 1 gives willpower, and 2, whatever you roll for that willpower, he is moving that many squares. It's not half, it's the whole thing. So if you hit a 5 or 6 on willpower, he's moving 5, 6 squares for free. That makes up ground. You fail and you roll a 1 or 2, well, that's a free side set. That's not bad either. So, high reward, low risk there. He's coming in with the outsider's TA, so he can protect his defensive values. He can make sure that he's not getting modified down. Careful, he has close combat expert, so if you do it on, be smart about it. Rather, don't do it before you attack. Try to do it afterwards. Otherwise, you would not get the attack and damage modification. He has destroy blocking. I think I said that already. So with the free movement from the willpower, that's just gravy. And similar to Superman, he's just a brick. So if you're looking for a pull from a rarity that provides just raw power and a little bit of a brick, Robot Man is your man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was on the receiving end of that free movement a couple times. The sealed and pre-release. He's there was just no good planning for it. You have no idea where he's going to be when your opponent's turn starts.
Yep.
Yeah, and
unpredictability.
And Outsiders is a really strong team ability in this set too.
Yep.
Yeah, with all the Perplex running around in this set, absolutely.
Kenny, what's your third pick?
My third pick. So this wasn't on our list. Okay, I know we had like a little pre discussion list. So I'm gonna segue here. I'm gonna take a wide left here.
Okay.
My third pick is Bumblebee.
Nice.
I love Bumblebee. 4 clicks deep, so she does not take hits very well. She is tiny though, so that gives you a +1 defense when it comes from range. She has hypersonic speed, which we already talked about. She covers a lot of ground. She has 5 range, 2 bolts. But the star, what you really want to play her for, well, she is Titans too, so she synergizes with Jinx, who is lovely. But that's not the reason why. The reason why you ought to play her is Beehive Cannon. She has Incap, Precision Strike. When she uses Incapacitate, she also deals damage to hit characters given an action token. So I didn't really play with feats back in the day, but I know Stunning Blow was a feat back in the day. Essentially, when you used Incapacitate, you also dealt your damage on top of that, and that was a very powerful feat. She does it in this small little package for 40 points where she can action token you up, and now she can give you 2 damage. If she single targets, if she double targets, you can deal the damage however you want. It's not 2 damage to alt hit target. That would be insane. But yeah, she is just a really, she fills a role. She feels accurate to what she would do normally. She just buzzes around, annoys you. You don't really want to fully commit to her. But if you let her run wild, she is just going to token you up all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Anthony might know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I might know a little bit about what you're talking about. Kenny and I were playing, and he sends Bumblebee out just to annoy me. And he's like, okay, you want to KO him, just go after her, try to KO her, but you're going to spend all your energy trying to hit Bumblebee. Because for some reason, the 4 clicks and 17 willpower was just like not, I couldn't do it. And so I was spending all my energy on Bumblebee, and he was just like tokening me up. And then he had his rest of his team was like sitting out there, just like chilling. So
gotta love it. All right.
So, Brian, what's your pick? Third pick.
So third pick, I gotta give it to Red Raven.
Yeah.
So 019 comes in at 75 points. Brute, Celebrity, Monster, Mystical, Titans. She's got a rally. For opposing 6, she can eat 2 dice to gain Steel Energy, Colossal, and Cosmic Energy for the turn. Not for the turn, for this game. But really, the reason people run her is the trait. Tell us how you really feel, Raven. It's sideline active. When a friendly character of 40 points or more with the Team Titans keyword is KO'd, after resolutions, you may generate Red Raven from your sideline on click number 4 in that character's square. If the KO'd character was named Raven, you may generate Red Raven on click number 1 instead. So she is just a solid, blazing, super sensing, charge flurrying monster. Costs nothing to toss her on your team as long as you're running Teen Titans, and we've been over a handful of them already. Titans are good. She's just going to zip on out and just start smacking your opponent around after your team's already softened them up. She could potentially just pull victory out of the jaws of defeat for you. Excuse me.
Yeah, I think a lot of the packs, a lot of the boosters come with Raven and Red Raven in the same boosters. Mm-hmm. So I've seen that happen a lot. So you could just sideline her. Yeah, she's very.
There's a lot of shapeshifting in the set too, so Battle Fury is actually quite useful here.
Yeah, even if you don't sign, like I said, you pull her in the sealed. There's a solid argument for just putting her on your team.
Yeah. Okay, and for me, my last uncommon, my third pick is going to be, I think I'll go with Beast Boy.
Nice.
Set number 23. I really like this Beast Boy. This is the non-prime version. He's 30 points. He's got zero range with 2 targets. He's got 3 separate dials. So he's a swimmer. He's a dolphin symbol. His first dial has a special power that says flight and passenger 4. He also has precision strike on that dial and ESD and shape change. he has a second dial with plasticity, poison, and shape change, and and combat reflexes, and a third dial that has flurry, smoke cloud, defend, and shape change. He can free action to turn to any dial on the same click number. That's really useful. I think he has to start on the first dial, I believe, because I think that's the green line on his dial. I'm not sure if I'm
yeah. So if there are, I'm not sure either. If there are green lines on the blue one and the black one as well, he could start wherever. If there's not, you just got to take the free action on turn 1 to put him where you want him. It's
but I normally start with him on the one where he can carry people, and you have him carry people up, and then afterwards you just free action to turn him to whatever you want. He could be really useful as a tie-up piece with that plasticity, poison, and the combat reflexes. That's just really good.
The shape change too.
He has shape change on all of his dials. So so I mean, like, if you need to in a pinch, like your opponent has a big figure that's causing you trouble, and you want to tie them up so that they can't shoot you or something, just Beast Boy, come over here and park right next to you, and with his combat reflexes, shape change, plasticity, poison, that's just a really good combo. I really like Beast Boy. He's only 30 points. He gives your team mobility, so I like him a lot. All right,
solid figure.
So that was the uncommons. So we each picked 3. I'll show them up on the screen so you can see what we picked.
Crazy to me that Blackfire wasn't selected because she's a phenomenal figure.
There are so many good.
Mentions. The honorable mentions.
Joker too. Like there's so much good in this set.
Joker pairs really well with common Clayface, by the way.
I mean, ideally you have Joker, Clayface, Harley, and you're just laughing.
But yeah, there were so many ones that we didn't pick that were just really good. Power Girl is just a strong,
just a solid sealed brick. Yeah,
just an solid attacker. So, but I'll show up on the screen what we picked. And let's go into the rares. So I picked the last uncommon. So Brian, I believe you get first pick on the rare.
No, it would be you.
It's back to you. Remember, snakes.
Right. Snakes. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I will get first pick never.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Brian. All right. So
such is the curse of the middle.
All right. So here we go. Rares. Let's see what we have. I'm gonna pick. I gotta go with Deathstroke. He's my favorite rare.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I gotta go with Deathstroke. So if we take a look at Deathstroke, he is set number 034. I should have let Kenny have this one because he's punished me with Deathstroke so many times already. He's
this is your chance for revenge. Take it from him.
He's 150 points or 100 or 50. So he can come in and he's really good at any point value. He has a trait. So he moves through characters. He's got running shot, 10 speed with running shot, 6 range with 3 targets, 10 speed with running shot, 12 attack with a special, 18 defense with super senses, 4 damage with shape change. He has multiple stop clicks. He has the team player and Injustice League team abilities. He has improved movement characters. He has a trait when establishing theme teams. You may choose up to 2 characters on your force with the Justice League or Teen Titans keyword that are each less than or equal to Deathstroke's point value. The chosen characters gain Deathstroke's keywords. That alone makes him like competitive worthy. And then he has an attack power, Blades, Claws, Fangs, and Knockback, and Pulse Wave, which are all 3 very good things. When Deathstroke uses Pulse Wave and hits 2 or more opposing characters, you may instead roll a d6 and divide the damage equal to the result among all hit characters. So you running shot in there, Pulse Wave, hit like 4 characters, maybe even some of your own, and then you roll d6 and you roll 6, and you can deal all 6 of it to one character if you want, because you can divide it any way you choose. So
Right.
which is pretty insane. I mean, hopefully you roll 6 and not a 1, but still, that's really cool. You can basically kind of high potential for like one-shotting characters. His stop click says stop, mastermind, and toughness and regeneration. When Deathstroke uses mastermind, he considers friendly characters within 4 squares as adjacent.
Quick rulings note, because I see this
Okay.
get brought up a lot. Deathstroke says he divides damage equal to the result among hit characters. He does not say you divide damage equally among hit characters.
Yeah.
The equal is the equal to the die roll, not. So yeah, you can partition that damage out however you want, just like with a normal attack where you get to divide damage equal to your damage value.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Also, crit hits. Crit hits increase the damage dealt to each hit character by 1. So you will, if you pulse wave and you're lucky enough for that crit, you'll divvy up the d6 damage, and then on top of that, you add 1 damage to each hit character.
So that can also bite you in the butt, because if your friendly characters win there, where chances are that's what you're doing, they're getting dealt 1 as well.
Yeah, because you're giving them 0 and then they're adding the 1, which is mandatory.
Right. Yeah, you don't get to divvy up the crit hit damage. Crit hit damage is going to be an extra 1 to each hit character. It's not.
Yep. I have had that happen to me already. I've had it happen where I targeted multiple opposing and friendly characters, and I only hit 1 opposing character. So I could only do normal pulse wave and deal 1 damage to all hit characters, which included my own team.
Yeah.
But the risk is obviously, there's a small risk for that high reward. So it's gonna happen.
Very high reward.
Absolutely. It's gonna happen every now and then. But I definitely had more success with the pulse wave power than failure. So I'm definitely not complaining.
Also worth noting that Deathstroke's 100-point dial, he has Outwit on his, and on his 50-point dial, he starts with Outwit. On 150, he starts with Shape Change.
Double rollout.
Yeah.
He's also team player, so that Wonder Woman common, if you want to give Deathstroke a 50% chance success of super senses, that's when you play that Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's my rare pick. Brian, what's your rare pick? That's my first pick.
This is
a
very hard question. I'm going to give it to Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love this Manhunter. So it comes in at 75 points or 40 points. 75, he starts out with a movement special, Detective John Jones, Denver PD. Opposing characters can't target Martian Manhunter unless he has made an attack this game. At the beginning of your turn, you may deal Martian Manhunter 1 unavoidable damage. Now, you might want to deal him that 1 unavoidable damage because his combat values on that first click are 9 attack, 1 damage, willpower, perplex, 17 defense. Click 2, though, he jumps up to 8 charge, 11 super strength, 18 invincible, 4 damage shape change. He goes from being a little wimpy support character to a brick. He's got the Outsiders team ability, Police team ability, and a trait, Psychic Detective. When he uses Outsiders and targets opposing character, that character can't be given free actions until your next turn. He also has improved movement, blocking characters, which combined with his flight is basically just phasing every time he moves. So he's just going to zip around the map, carrying your people around, giving them the defense, giving your opponents the attack penalty off his Police team ability. Then Outsiders after the attack to just prevent them from retaliating with increased modifiers, and just not getting hit in retaliation until he's ready to go in and start making some damage. At 40 points, you don't get that speed special. He starts at much less impressive combat values. But still, Outsiders, PD, the traits, there's a case to be made for the 40-point line.
Also worth noting with the 40-point line, or I mean, even the 75 or the 40-point line, is that he does have a team-up card that's pretty good.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's a very good team-up card. So if Martian Manhunter is part of a detective-themed team, which is going to be pretty prevalent pretty soon, I think, Then standard friendly characters that share a keyword with him have the Outsiders team ability. So that's like giving your whole team Outsiders, which is an uncopyable team ability. That's really good. For 40 points, that might make the 40-point Manhunter worth playing as well.
Yeah. So I was lucky enough to get him in the pre-release tournament, and he did a fantastic amount of work for me, just getting me positioned and then dealing some damage out. Constructed, though, I think he's honestly going to make a meta splash. The untargetability, I would say the Red Lantern Ring with giving him penetrating poison, or the Dark Hold, so he gets the full suite of Outwit, Prob, and the perplex he's already got in his dial as he just maneuvers around the map. He eats up a quarter of your team, so it is a big investment. But it's an investment your opponent can't do anything about unless they're packing poison or pulse wave. So I think players are going to have to make sure their teams have one of those two things just so they can handle Manhunters that might be cropping up.
So you can poison him on his top dial. It's not
Right.
considered targeting, or
Right. So targeting occurs during attacks, whenever an effect uses the word target, or whenever line of fire is drawn.
Yep.
Okay.
So outside of those things, yeah, he just. Then Pulse Wave is an attack, so it does target, but it works because his movement special is not protected Pulse Wave, so he turns that off before the attack gets made.
Got it.
Yep.
Yeah, I really like that figure. He's Martian Manhunter, very good. Kenny, what's your pick?
Right. So, someone took Deathstroke for me. Unbelievable. And then Martian Manhunter. Oh my goodness. Which, by the way, I would have to agree in that order of those two.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go against the grain a little bit here, focus a little bit more on sealed. And I'm going to stick to my Titans, and I'm going to stick to Red X. 60 points, 7 clicks, team player, and Titans. So, he's a team player that can copy other team abilities, and you already have those common and uncommon characters that are granting you the team abilities, such as Power Girl, Jinx, and the other one that I can't think of right now. Anyway, Batgirl, thank you. So, he has a full suite of team abilities working to his favor. Running Shot, Energy Explosion, Super Sense Leadership. Very potent power selection there. Good combat values. He turns into a charge outwitter with Incap and combat reflexes. Remember, 6 range, 2 bolts, so Incap is an option. He has outwit. He could just deal damage. But the reason why you want to play him, the real reason you want to play him, is because of that trait. He can actually get you a mission point victory in field with the evil wood burning pizza must be destroyed. Such a shame this evil wood burning pizza oven must be destroyed. Taking this exactly from the one TV show where he infiltrated the Hive Tower and got distracted by all their cool things, and they learned they had a pizza oven maker, and then his friends were like, hey, what's taking so long? And he's talking his head, it's such a shame I have to destroy this evil wood burning pizza oven. And it's thematic, and it's actually viable. So the way it works is that at the beginning of the game, generate an evil pizza oven maker in a square within 3 squares in opposing starting area. And then the oven marker has its own effect where characters within 2 squares have knockback. So if you're within 2 squares of this marker, everyone has knockback. And it turns into a giant King of the Hill, turns into a giant capture the flag kind of mechanic here, where at the beginning of your turn, if there are more friendly standard characters within 2 squares, gain 3 mission points. So you want to have more characters on your force closer to this marker than your opposing characters. And remember, as long as everyone's within 2 of this marker, they're knocking back each other. So it's a constant tug of war. So you just kind of want to hang around that marker, push your opponents out, and get your 3 mission points. And in 7 turns, which could happen in sealed, you get your 21st mission point. You only need 20, but obviously multiples of 3, and you get your win. So you don't even have to do all the KOing. You just have to survive. And again, with Red X, Jinx, and all the Titans that we saw at low values and just hard to KO, it can work. I've seen it work already. I have yet to play with this figure myself. I've seen other people play with it. I'm jealous of them, but that is my pick for rares, for one of my rares.
Mm-hmm. And what's your next one?
All right. Well, you guys have nothing to add. All right, cool.
Oh, so no, actually, I really agree with you. I mean, I think the mission points is going to be exciting and fun to play. The fact that he's got the running shot, double target energy explosion, super senses with team players, so you're playing with Wonder Woman. I think he's got your leadership. I think you can't go wrong with Red X.
So here, my next one, my next pick. It's not the Prime. It's the non-Prime, and I'm going to be talking about Scarecrow. And by the way, Prime Scarecrow is amazing. I think most of the time, all Primes are going to be really amazing. This set is no exception, especially in Sealed. Beast Boy, Scarecrow, and the Super Rare Primes. You pull them, chances are you're playing them. I'm going to focus on the non-Prime here because I think what he does is quite neat, and he does it for 35 points, which is insane. Yeah. He's got shape change and mastermind. He's got poison. He's got a really cool rally ability that's all rally 3. So any attack roll with a 3, he gets which grants him Smoke Cloud, by the way. That's a trait. But the rally part is free. Remove one of his rally dice to use Smoke Cloud as free. So big deal, right? Look at his speed power. Mind Control, Stealth. Mind Control as free, but only to target characters that occupy terrain markers generated by Scarecrow, regardless of range or line of fire. So if you get these rally dice going, you set up the free Smoke Cloud. Now you can do Mind Control as free, but only to target characters that occupy markers generated by Scarecrow. That's where the synergy kicks in. So not one single action was taken, assuming you have a rally token, for 35 points, 11 attack to Mind Control anyone within 5 squares in line of fire, assuming you follow all the legitimate rules of Smoke Cloud, and just do your thing. So that means he could be carried into position, free Smoke Cloud, free Mind Control, and then, with Uncle Fred or any Green Lantern or Beast Boy, get carried out again. It's a nice little, whoosh in, whoosh out, and disrupt your format. Once we can't understate how there's a lot in this sealed environment, there's going to be a lot of swarmy figures. So being able to break up those formations or hit each other, it's quite effective. And he does it at 35 points, which is just bonkers.
Brian, anything to add about Scarecrow?
Don't think so. Kenny touched on pretty much everything there. I can attest to the fact that he is effective. I was on the receiving end of a Scarecrow in was it the release event? Yeah. It's a lot of mind control.
Yeah, also not for nothing, 35 points for 5 clicks with Mastermind and Shape Change. It's like that's a long dial for 35 points. So all right.
When he does get hit, he goes down like a wet noodle, but yeah, it's not he has tools to defend himself.
Yep.
So that was Kenny, that was your second pick, right?
Yeah, Red X and Scarecrow.
So now it's Brian's turn for his second pick.
All right. So second pick, I'm gonna have to hand it to Aquaman.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a solid figure, comes in at 100 points or 50 points. Probably gonna see more at the 50-point line, but I think both are pretty solid. He's got a trait, King of the Seven Seas. Begin the game, you generate 7 water terrain markers anywhere on the map. They don't have to be adjacent or anything. You just put water wherever you want it. Got another trait, the King Use the Conch, Leadership. When he uses it and succeeds, he either generates a water terrain within range or a tentacle bystander into a square of water within range. And if he rolled a 6, he can generate both. The last thing he had, damage special, and the reason I think most people are going to want to run him, this is a monarchy and I rule. Close combat expert, Empower. When he uses Empower, he may treat friendly characters with Dolphin as occupying water terrain as adjacent. There is no range restriction on that. If you are friendly to him, you're on the map and you're standing in a puddle, your damage value goes up by 1 when you make a close attack. We have so sealed. He's solid. Those tentacles are nothing to sneeze at. I'm gonna pull them up real quick. The Giant Reach 3, Quake, 10 attack, 2 damage, and power, plasticity. But in constructed, we have that pool floaty Deadpool running around right now, just free generating water wherever you need it to be. You can just keep Aquaman in the back, just churning out some extra water with leadership and buffing up the entire team carrying Deadpool around as they just start demolishing your opponent. He has a team up card as well, which on a ruler themed team gives standard friendly characters with a shared keyword the dolphin symbol. So your entire team can swim. You got water just getting tossed out by the bucket to prevent them from getting targeted, and he's handing out Empower like candy. There's a lot of potential there, I think.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think he's a really fun piece, but he's also potentially competitive with his empowering others and generating water. The tentacles can be very annoying. Kenny?
Yeah.
No, I agree completely. I think he's a great answer to a lot of mystics in this set, and by that I mean because of the bystanders that he generates.
Mm-hmm.
They hit hard enough. They're getting boosted from the empower that they're going to be able to break toughness or invulnerability, which there's not a whole lot of in this set. But for those that might have it, he can do it. So if he's hitting Jinx, if he's hitting Joker, if he's hitting all these characters that have not a single reducer, they're taking 3 damage. You're getting the Mystic character weaken, and you're giving up that bystander. Also, if you hit someone that doesn't have Mystics, that bystander sticks around and can do it again next turn.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what the board control, the presence, the pressure that he can generate, if you roll leadership well, and you have to be within range of the water. It's not global. You can't just generate a water on the other side of the map and put a tentacle there. That would be busted. So it's he does require some interaction with the map, and you actually do have to get him into the fray, but he's worth it. I was fortunate to play him a few times myself, and no regrets. I enjoyed him both times.
Yeah. All right, so I guess it's my turn for a rare. I get to pick 2. So my first rare I'm gonna pick is Peacemaker.
Mm-hmm.
Peacemaker has the Suicide Squad and team abilities. He comes in at 75 or 40 points. He has 6 range with single target, 8 speed with running shot, 11 attack with penetrating psychic blast, 18 defense with invulnerable, 3 damage with a special power. He has a trait all about the mission. When you gain 1 or more mission points after resolutions, heal Peacemaker and a friendly character 1 click. I actually don't really view this as a mission point character per se, unless you're playing him on your sideline, because he doesn't earn you mission points just by main forcing him. But he has another. I mean, am I right? Am I right about that? Or
nope, you're right.
So, but on his trait, he has a sideline active trait. So if you do play him on your sideline, when a friendly character of 40 points or more is KO'd, and you have 10 or more total mission points, after resolutions, you may generate Peacemaker on his red starting line from your sideline in that character's square. If Peacemaker started the game via this trait, when he uses probability control, after resolutions, gain 1 mission point. So that's probably worth it if you're playing mission points.
Oh, yeah.
Because that trigger for 1 mission point when he comes in off your sideline is insane. It's just like, okay, I use prob and now I get a mission point. That can happen pretty much every single turn. So
yeah.
So that's pretty good. But I also just like Peacemaker in sealed because he's got prob. Oh, I didn't even read his damage power. Probability control. When an opposing character within range uses probability control to target a friendly character of greater or equal points than themselves, after resolutions, give that opposing character an action token. So he deters you from using prob. That includes theme prob, and he has prob himself. He's got penetrating psychic blast. He's got 6 range, running shot. So he's not bad. I think he's pretty good. He's got invulnerable too for his defense. He's kind of a good attacker and support figure as well.
Yeah, oh yeah. There's really no downside to Peacemaker.
Yeah,
He's good. So
yeah, and constructed, especially now you have tarot cards that present that give mission points. This set I think really opened the door with some creative mission point opportunities. There's a lot of different high rarity characters that provide different avenues to mission point success, and him as a sideline that you can just throw him on there, and you don't have to win with those main strategy anymore. You have a backup strategy now. You have tarot cards that can help you get to the finish line. It has never been more viable to win with a mission point strategy than it has right now. I know Wrecker was like the closest and did win some mid-level tournaments here and there. But I really think the door has been kicked open here, and I'm excited to see if people embrace it and go for it.
Yeah. No, mission points is definitely exciting as a viable new strategy. I think it's really good. My second pick is going to be the Brain.
Nice.
Yep.
The Brain. Let's take a look at. Let's find him. The Brain. 35 points. 7 range with a single target. Improved targeting characters, so that's great. He's got 4 speed with mind control, but you're not really moving this guy around too much. He's got 11 attack, 17 defense with a special. His special is invulnerability and mastermind, which is great. And then he's tiny size, and he starts with outwit. Later on, he gets enhancement and then range combat expert. Hopefully, he doesn't get knocked off that outwit click. But the really thing that makes him great is his trait. I formed the Brotherhood of Evil. Leadership, once per turn for all characters with this trait, the Brain may be given a non-free action after being carried, but only if he shares a keyword with the character that carried him. And correct me if I'm wrong, a rules question here. So you can carry Brain, right?
Yep.
Then outwit someone, right? Then
Correct.
later on be given a non-free action to use mind control, because it doesn't say you have to do it immediately. It just says once per turn.
I'm going to pull up his wording again real quickly just to double check, but I am fairly certain you are 100% correct on that. And yep, so yeah, once per turn is for all characters with this trait. It just means that you can't carry up a whole bucket load of brains and have them all mind control afterwards. But yeah, no, you're not limited to doing it immediately. You can carry them up and then make the non-free action whenever you want during your turn.
Yeah, so that's crazy good, because then he can outwit first, and then do a mind control, 7 range through characters, mind control. And with an 11 attack, which is definitely not bad. And he's not easy to KO because he's got mastermind. So I like him a lot.
It's also not free. Just it's very easy to get confused with that a little bit. He's given the non-free action, so he's breaking the rule of action after taxi or being able to do something after being carried. But if he does something, he still gets a token.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right.
So if he does something, he gets a token. Oh yeah. So right. Okay, got it. So that mind control still gives him a token. Yes.
Yeah. Otherwise, he would be really, really, really insane.
Yeah, that would be insane. But I still think he's competitive. Actually, I think he's possibly potentially a competitive piece.
I don't know if you touch this though. He also has IT character, so hiding him behind a wall of people, that's not going to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Brian, your third character.
This is getting to me making some tough choices.
Yep.
But I'm gonna give it to Negative Man.
Ooh.
So Negative Man is cheap, comes in at 45 points for stealth, poison, toughness, and empower. Also the Outsider's team ability. He's got a trait, the negative spirit. Take a power action to generate a negative spirit bystander, max of 1. If his negative spirit is on the map, he can't be given move actions or make attacks. And when the negative spirit bystander is KO'd after his solutions, you roll a d6 and deal him damage equal to half the results. Then it's protected pulse wave. So it's worth remembering that he cannot move, he cannot make attacks. Poison and outsiders are both free actions, which are perfectly fine, as is his regeneration on the back end of his dial. So his lifeless body does still have some tricks to it. The negative spirit bystander is a 7-speed hypersonic passenger 0 that deals 1 damage to an opposing character they moves through whenever it uses hypersonic. Just one singular character, doesn't ding everyone. It's also got 16 senses, 2 damage, exploit. So this thing is potentially hitting for 3 penetrating damage if you keep him adjacent to the negative man that generated him. And you can just zip out around, give free damage, and I love free damage, just by moving through characters. The negative spirit can also take a free action if it's adjacent to negative man to poof off the map, reanimating negative man, but it can't do that the turn it gets generated. I just like him. He's very cheap. Potentially has double outsiders because both he and the spirit can outsiders. You can wipe a lot of modifiers off the opposing team and deal free penetrating damage just by moving. He is just an all-around great support figure.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on the receiving end of negative spirit, and it's not fun. I've had negative spirit about negative spirit.
Yeah. Yeah, all the Doom Patrol here, they really shine.
Yeah.
They work well together, and just a team of outsiders is obnoxious. So no, well done.
All right, so Kenny, what is your last pick for the rare?
Jeez, I mean, I could pick the primes, but that's the easy way out. I'm looking at what's left, and it's just like, how do I? Ugh. But if I gotta pick one, I'm gonna pick probably the best version of this character we ever gotten, in my opinion, and that's gonna be number 39, Mr. Freeze. So he's 60 points, 7 clicks, got invulnerability. We just talked about how there's not a whole lot of that. Well, he's got it. He's got it for 2 clicks. Now, he goes to toughness and regen, but being able to take that attack up front is nothing bad, nothing to sneeze at. He's got running shot. He's got outwit. Like, again, there's a lot of outwit in this set, and he's packing it, so he can keep up. What I really like about him is he has IT destroy blocking. Not a whole lot of people have that in this set. There's also not a whole lot of barrier, except he has barrier. So in that mirror match, you got him. But it's fun because in there's not a whole lot of barrier. So if you need that position, you need to close something down or just create this separation. He does have it traded. He can also do it as a rally for free. He has a rally 2 barrier, and that can help you, set up some walls and set up some separation or buy you some time if necessary. However, he also has IT adjacency. So while he is adjacent to a character, he can still make range attacks, which leads to his attack power, which is knockback. And when he hits with a range attack, he chooses one, which is hit characters given an action token. So essentially kind of like what Bumblebee does, where if she uses incap, she can still do her normal damage. And then, or you can choose that they can't use speed powers. We talked about Kid Flash, Superman. We talked about all these hypersonic pieces, low rarities. You shoot them once with Mr. Freeze. You could just say, I don't want to deal with that next turn. And it's just not hypersonic either. You hit a Batman while he was not in stealth, and they try to throw smoke cloud. Well, he still doesn't have stealth, so that's a speed power. So it could be quite useful how you utilize this to make sure, you hit Clayface, you want to get away from him because he has plasticity. Well, you don't have to worry about that anymore. There's a lot of different ways you can utilize it. It could be quite useful. I feel like most people will probably do the action token thing, but in a pinch, if you really think about it, the other option has a lot of utility here.
It's worth noting. It's worth noting too. He just needs to hit. He doesn't need to deal damage.
Yep, just hit.
You hit 2 people, you can still plug all the damage into the one you want to hurt and just wipe the speed power off the other guy just for the sake of getting it gone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, you get close to KOing him, that, 6-7 clicks of 60 points, he's got regen. He could go right back up to the middle dial where he has a range combat expert, potentially a 12 attack. And it doesn't matter if you're next to him, he's still going to range you. So this is a solid Mr. Freeze. This is probably one of the best Mr. Freezes ever in the game, in my opinion. And that is my third choice for rares.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I really like him because of all the things you said. I mean, his improved targeting is great, and the fact that he has Outwit. I think if you're playing sealed, you definitely want to run some sort of Outwit in the set. All right, so that's been all of the rares. We just drafted 3 rares each. I'll put them on the screen for you to take a look at. There are a lot of ones that we missed that were probably honorable mentions. I mean, I was looking at Sportsmaster as a potential.
Yeah.
Sportsmaster
is great. You can't. It's the same thing. The in-cap plus damage is solid.
Yep.
So let me put for Sportsmaster. Is that when you do the in-cap with damage? Is that the same way with Bumblebee? You have to divide it.
He says he still deals normal damage, correct?
Not sure.
He also deals normal damage to characters, so yes, it would have to be divided if it's multi-targeting.
Yeah. Okay.
It would specifically state deal all damage characters his printed value or his damage value. It would be very specific if you were to deal 3 to everyone.
It would also be really good.
Yeah. Yes, we wouldn't be discussing it. We would be like, that's my first pick if that was the case. Yeah.
Okay.
So there is actually a fun interaction here if you want to get a little spicy combo nonsense. So incapacitate normally is instead of normal damage. He still has normal. He is still dealing normal damage. If you pair him up with another sort of damage replacement thing, like say Blades, Claws, Fangs, because he is still dealing normal damage, he could do an in-cap Blades combo.
Yep.
Assuming he's only got 1 target.
Oh, cool.
Some dangerous batting practice, yeah.
Or in-cap Quake. There's options.
Yeah.
Not that he has Quake, but he does, but not with the attack special.
All right. So let me put on the screen the our picks for the rares, and you can take a look at those. All right, so that was the so you've seen the rares. Now let's jump right into the super rares. Kenny, you have a pick for the super rares. You're the first pick on super rares. So let's see what comes of that. What are you going to pick for the first super rare?
It's insane how many fun super rares there are to pick here.
There's so many that just scream to build around me.
Are we also sticking by a rule of avoiding the primes? Are we going to not talk about the primes? Because the primes are the primes are very good.
We could. No reason we can't. It's just they just feel obvious. We all know the primes are good.
Yeah, we all know that the primes are good. So if you're taking notes at home, the primes are good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna pick a character that I think hits the notes for sealed, constructed, and all that. And I'm gonna go with special place in my heart. I'm gonna go with Darkseid, number 56. So this is the Darkseid from the Teen Titans Go episode when they meet him for the first time, and he was voiced by Weird Al Yankovic. So that was a really fun episode, and that's probably why you see this Darkseid with flavor text that's not usually something that you would associate with Darkseid. However, his dial is exactly what you would associate with Darkseid, because he will blow a hole in your chest and he will not feel sorry about it. You got him at 250 points, 125 and 75. If you're playing him in sealed, you pull this guy, you play him at 250, no questions asked. Go just one shot every single figure you can. He's got invincible too, so all that mystic stuff that we were talking about, he doesn't care. Cosmic energy, outwit. We were talking about how there's so much outwit in this set. He doesn't care. So he's countering two of the biggest bugaboos here. Oh, poison, movement poison. He doesn't care. I mean, we can go on and on and on about what he just doesn't care about. He's not unbeatable, but man, he's really hard to beat. But anyway, 8 range, elevated, IT characters. He's going to find you and he's going to blow a hole in your chest. That's exactly what he wants to do. So you play him in sealed and you lose. That means you had a really, really bad dice game, or you really went out of your way to do things that were not the correct things to do. So I'm going to now switch gears and go to the constructed, because that's where I find this most exciting, where, chances are you're going to play him at 125 or 75. He's going to have a stop click per each starting line you choose. So if you play him at 125, there's 2 stop clicks. If you play him at 75, there's 1 stop click. Or actually, am I wrong there? I am wrong there. I'm sorry. He has a stop click if you play him at 125 or 75. If you play him at 250, you do get that second stop click. My mistake. But it's the children should not meddle in the affairs of adults, where he has knockback. When a friendly character knockbacks one or more opposing characters, if at least one character they knock back hasn't been knocked back this turn, gain 1 mission point. Okay. It's possible in sealed, especially with the 250 line, because I think he gains 2 mission points. So not as reliable as Red X, but it's possible. But in constructed, 75 points, building around him, and just having, and it's just friendly characters. So you just have to be friendly to Darkseid, have access to knockback or whatever it is you want to do knockback, and start gaining these mission points. And they're going to start racking up, especially if you're attacking 2-3 times a turn, hitting with them. If you combo him with another character that can also get mission points through other means, it starts stacking up. Peacemaker's on your sideline. All you have to do is get to 10. If he does go down, Peacemaker can probably take you to the finish line. This is an exciting figure to build around. He's also a ruler, playing with the Aquaman team up. Now you give him the dolphin symbol. Now it's harder to hit him. There's a lot of little things you can do here. I don't recommend that for the mission point strategy. I was just throwing it in there because it's fun. But this is just an exciting figure, no matter how you want to play it, whether it's constructed, sealed, whether it's blowing a hole in your chest, whether it's mission points. He checks all the boxes. This is my #1 pick.
Mm-hmm. There is, I don't even know what to add to that.
I mean,
so, yeah.
Kenny, do you think this Darkseid? I mean, I just noticed a lot of the similarities between 250 point Darkseid from this set and Thanos 250 points from the Avengers Forever set that just came out recently. Which one do you think's better?
In what context?
I guess, yeah. I mean, in constructed.
In constructed, I
have an answer.
I got to look at Thanos again. Like, the fact that I even have to look at Thanos to compare, I mean, that's
it's Darkseid.
I think it's Darkseid, to be honest.
Well, Darkseid has the
it has to be Darkseid because Darkseid has a more reliable mission point track than Thanos, where Thanos could do all the right things, but man, you could roll ones. No, you could have all the immortal tokens removed, 5, and roll a 1 and you're boned. Well, Darkseid, he just gotta hit you. He's gotta knock you back, and Darkseid doesn't have anything that prevents knockback. Darkseid has the better stats up front and probably has more longevity because he has 3 stop clicks. So in that aspect, Thanos better. But when you take all the other factors into the mix here, and how the game would be played out, and unless Darkseid crit misses a lot and Thanos just continually hits a lot, Darkseid should win that matchup more often than not if we're talking about one-on-one. But Heroclix is not a one-on-one game, so I don't like having that conversation. But to answer your question, Mr. Bruno, I would go with Darkseid.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, Brian, you have a super rare choice coming up.
What's your choice? My favorite figure in this set The one that I was the most excited to be working on because he was on the very first Heroclix team I ever played. Back when I was just learning the game, friend gave me one of his old versions. Still love that old version, but this new one, man, Larfleeze just takes the cake for me. Comes in at 175 points or 100 points. The Cosmic Energy, 6 range, 2 bolts. Trait, what's mine is mine. Plasticity, opposing characters within the range can't automatically break away, which does stop things like phasing. Any movement characters is a automatic breakaway. This is a no. Trait, not yours. Larfleeze can be equipped with any number of equipment at the same time. When a non-standard character within range and line of fire is KO'd, after resolutions, you may roll a d6 and heal Larfleeze equal to half the result. So with the orange ring, he can yoink equipment off of anyone he hits with a close attack and just stock them up. And also with the orange ring, the constructs he makes are bystanders, therefore non-standard characters. If they bite it, Larfleeze heals. He's got a speed special, Enslaved to the Orange Battery, Charge, Mind Control. Mind Control is free, but only to target non-standard opposing characters. So you can steal your opponent's constructs and take them for a spin. And Defense Power. Larfleeze's Junkyard. Barrier Impervious. Barrier is free, but only to generate 2 markers. Larfleeze is a solid tentpole for a team. He's got a lot of potential, I think. Stealing stuff, making orange constructs to fight for him. He can take hits. He heals on every click. He's either got Steel Energy or his trait to heal off of. I would run him at the 175 given the chance. I think he's got a lot going for him.
Not to be overlooked, where the non-standard characters from his trait and the Enslaved to the Orange Battery, it's easy to just associate the constructs because of this set, especially in a sealed environment.
Yeah.
But that also extends to tiny characters and giant and or colossal characters. So even in constructed, and we're talking about Fulcrum Abominus, we're talking about Surtur, whatever, he can turn them against you, and that's not fun.
Bystanders too, right? Bystanders?
Yeah.
Normal bystanders that aren't constructs as well. Yep.
The non-standards are very common.
Yeah. And what's mine is mine. Opposing characters within range. It does not say line of fire. You just have to be within range.
Yep. 6 range is a pretty good bubble of the map.
It is.
Yeah, so like if another character has plasticity, so it's not just whoever he's tied up with, it's anybody tied up with anybody within his range.
The constructs say opposing characters can automatically break away from them. Not anymore. You take a free action to toss his chainsaw out or whatever, and your opponent has to either punch the chainsaw and heal Larfleeze, roll breakaway, maybe miss. There is just no good answer.
Yeah.
It's fun.
That's very cool. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting interactions with Larfleeze.
Yeah. He's got a lot of little fiddly bits, and they all work together.
Okay, so I guess for me, who am I going to pick for my super rare? I think I want to go with Joe Mullane.
Okay.
Nice.
Joe Mullane. Joe Mullane is 75 points. She has 6 range with a single target. She's got the Green Lantern Corps and Police team abilities. 10 speed with a special and flying. 11 attack, 18 defense with super senses, and 3 damage with outwit. She has a trait when Joe Mullane uses willpower and succeeds on a roll of 6, heal her 1 click. Now, you might be wondering, where's her willpower? She does get willpower when she is equipped with the Green Lantern ring. So that will give her the willpower. Also, she gets willpower on her because she has 2 stop clicks at the end where she has colossal size, so that would grant her willpower as well. So am I right? Or am I missing something?
Nope. You
No,
got it.
you're
So,
absolutely right.
I was gonna, but actually, there you for a second, but you got the colossal. Note.
And then her speed power is charge, flurry, and plasticity. So really good powers there, where she can charge in and tie somebody up and flurry. She has the outwit, and she has the 2 stop clicks, where it's invincible on her stop clicks. So that's pretty good, and she gets close combat expert on both of those stop clicks, and she can heal off the stop click when she hits her willpower. So you kind of have to like double or
When
triple
she rolls a 6.
when she rolls a 6, but there is potential for healing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think she's very good. I think the Green Lantern constructs are very good. Because there's a lot of Green Lantern figures out there. So I really like her. I think, going along with that, I guess, with Joe Mullane, I guess my other super rare that I would pick would be John Stewart. John Stewart has he's 75 points. He also has the Green Lantern Corps team ability. Oh yeah, not to forget that both characters with the Green Lantern Corps team ability can carry up to 8 people. They have passenger 8, so which is copyable. So that's nothing to scoff at right there. And then he has 7 range with a single target, 10 speed with running shot, 11 attack with precision strike, 18 defense with a special, 3 damage with enhancement. His trait says willpower. When John Stewart uses it and succeeds, he takes a maximum of 2 damage from attacks until your next turn. Now that one, it combos very well with the Green Lantern ring because that gives him willpower +1, I believe. So he's actually succeeding on a 4, 5, or 6. Every time he hits that willpower, he's taking a maximum of 2 damage from attacks. So it makes him very hard to take out. Also, he's got his defense power is barrier and invulnerability, and barrier is free but only to generate 2 markers. 2 free barrier markers is really good. Not a lot of characters can make 2. I think Mad Jim Jaspers makes 2. Molecule Man kind of makes 3. So I think that alone makes John Stewart really good. I'd probably run him at 50 points because he's got the perplex. But he's also a solid attacker at 75 points.
Yeah. Nice, solid choice.
Yeah. So my choices would be Joe Mullane and John Stewart. Brian, what do you have as the next super rare?
My next super rare, I'd have to give it to Indigo 1. Time to jump in on the mission point bandwagon here. So 60 points, 6 range, 2 targets. Starts off with leadership, incap, phasing. Not bad. Her trait, though, support. When Indigo 1 uses it, she may target a friendly character within range and line of fire, and after resolutions, gain mission points equal to the number of clicks that were healed. She also has a trait that gives friendly bystanders within range support. So important thing to note is that it's the clicks healed, not the result of the support roll. So if you target someone who's only taken 1 damage, even if you have her Indigo ring equipped for the +1 to healing, and you roll that 6, you're only gonna heal back 1 click on the person. Support, downside 2, they can't be based with anyone, but just a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge between friends. Keep an eye peeled on the WizKids site. There's some news coming down. Wink.
Wonder what it is.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that she's gonna start showing up on teams in a little bit. I really like her kit. Healing is very potent, and she doesn't have to get into the fray. She can hang back and just keep topping off your force. And even your opponent has to deal with her because even if they're not killing your figures, you're not killing theirs. She's still going to get the win just off of healing.
And then she can create her constructs next to her to heal her
Yep.
if you're going after her.
Yeah, free action to make the construct, then they just support her back up.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
And this is also friendly bystanders, which, again, easy to remember or get stuck in the realm of this set that it's constructs, but it's bystanders too. It could be any generated bystander where, it's a Clayface duplicate or
Red Wing is a fun one to toss out
all
there.
the bystanders outside of this set that there's so many that I can't think of any, but yes, there's a lot.
Yeah.
So
the constructs... Eenie and Meanie, there you go. Now they can heal. They can
heal, yeah.
Because that's what they needed was to have a Eenie pop out poison and support back the
they weren't good enough. They weren't
right. It's they just Maggot really needed that push to be in the competitive zone.
Yeah. No, I'm glad this gives him that push. Yeah.
Right.
So technically, the constructs are considered bystanders, correct?
Yes. Bystander is any character that does not have a combat dial. So if it doesn't have a thing that clicks, it's a bystander.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep.
All right. And Kenny, what's your choice for a super rare? Was this your second choice?
I get two.
Ooh, so
I get two in a row.
Ooh. Nice.
So we're gonna stick, I think we're gonna hit all the colors here. We're gonna hit all the colors of the spectrum. So my next one is going to be the guy that gives you hope. And that's Mr. St. Walker over here. He's a Blue Lantern. And it's very we've done this for a few sets now, and most of the time we were like, oh, you always want to play a figure on the low line. Not this guy. This guy you want to play at full. You want to play him at 60. And I'm going to tell you why. And it's because of his second trait that I will tell you after I read the first trait. The first trait is Empower, and when he uses it, he may treat other friendly characters within range and line of fire as adjacent. So we had Brian just go off on Aquaman talking about global Empower if you were Dolphin Symbol. Now, this isn't that, but it's still damn good. It's still 5 range and power. You have to draw a line of fire. And when you're doing those punchy attacks, he's giving you a +1 when it comes to damage. But the real reason why you want to play this guy is all will be well. He's a really hopeful guy. So attack rolls of 11 made by friendly characters within range are critical hits. Anytime that you can increase your odds of a critical hit is a good day. The second part of this trait says if he's 60 points, attack rolls of 10 made by friendly characters within range are critical hits. Not line of fire, range. You play him at 60 points. Anything within 5, any character within 5 that rolls 10 or higher is doing a critical hit. We talked about how much super sense is in this set when it comes to sealed. There's a lot of mastermind in this set. You have just increased your odds exponentially to avoid all of that nonsense. Not to mention, he's got pretty decent stat line. He's 8'11", 18'3", nothing to sneeze at. He's got precision strike, running shot, and he has a damage power, which is enhanced and perplex. So not only is he giving you Empower, he can also perplex you. And if you don't want to punch and you want to just shoot someone, he's giving you enhancement. He is just utility. He is an Army Swiss Knights of utility powers here. He's just missing like prob, and he has all the powers covered. That being said, at 30 points, you get him on click 5. He doesn't have that cool damage power. He loses the running shot, but he's still a 30-point T carrier with enhancement that still gives you access to the second trait, which makes 11s or higher to be critical hits. I really do think the 30 extra point investment here for the extra 4 clicks of health, his mobility, his attacking prowess is definitely worth it when you are in a sealed environment. Maybe he's constructed viable, probably not. But in sealed, you pull this guy, especially with all the constructs, anytime any friendly character is rolling 10 or higher, that's a critical hit. That's a good day.
Yeah. Brian, what are your thoughts on St. Walker?
He is just phenomenal support. I gotta agree with Kenny. The 60 line is where you want to be. That gives your attacks a 1 in 6 chance of being a crit. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a couple probs, or you're running a die replacement because we have a couple pieces of decent die replacement right now. You can pretty easily guarantee you hit those 10s and deal that extra damage. Mm-hmm. He's definitely going to find his way onto a couple of my teams.
So, Kenny, what's your third pick for the super rares?
So we're gonna go with the non-prime Wonder Woman. So she's amazing. She's 100 points or 45. She's got a bunch of keywords that you want to play: Amazon Deity, Justice League Pass, Politician, Soldier, Warrior, and she has an amazing trait: Emissary of Peace. This is a Wonder Woman with 4 base damage, and she's the Emissary of Peace. Go figure. Super Senses. When Wonder Woman uses it and succeeds, she can't be targeted by range attack to its turn. That's annoying. Because you don't really want to be up close to her anyway, because she's going to hit you for 12-4. That's not a good day. She also has back end flurry and blade, so if this happens towards the end of her dial, you don't want to deal with that. Second trait, which is what I think really makes her shine: peace by whatever means necessary. Incapacitate. When an opposing character within range with 2 action tokens would be given an action token after resolutions, gain 1 mission point. That sounds awfully familiar to another character that's quite forgettable from an older Marvel set. I think his name is Malekith. So I don't know if this actually makes him viable, but whatever ideas people had with Malekith that they tried, whether it be Rocket Raccoon or Spider-Man, et cetera, working with the Incap, now can shift over to Wonder Woman at half the cost. And I think Wonder Woman has a better package for the points that you're spending to stay alive, do work, and build a strong core around it to achieve this mission point success. Before we get into the nitty-gritty there, let's move on to her speed power, which is charge. Friendly characters that can use Incapacitate can use charge. So there's already synergy going on here. Now, granted, you have to play. Actually, she does start with that 145-point line. But if you play 100 points, she has many more clicks of it. We just talked about how Lara Flees has all these things with friendly characters, with bystanders. We talked about Indigo 1. Wonder Woman wanted to get into the fray. So pretty much any friendly characters that use Incapacitate can use charge. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that said bystanders. It's even better. Friendly characters that use Incapacitate can use charge. So whether or not they're bystanders or not, if they have Incapacitate, they're charging, which means that they're mobilizing and trying to achieve success with the second trait for the mission point victory. And then what would you have me do? Is a damage power that she has on her top line and on her last 3 clicks. Unfortunately, not on her starting line on click number 4, probably for good reason. Once per turn, when an opposing character within range and line of fire attacks a character of equal or more points than themselves after resolution, you may give the attacker an action token. Everything in her kit is geared up for that mission point success. And she does it very well. She does it at a great cost, whether it's 45 or 100. We talked about how Mission Point is very viable with this set coming out. This is just another example. This is why this is my next pick for this Super Rare Selections.
Yeah. Also, worth noting, I think she's a really good equipment on her would be the bracelets, because it gives her senses, protected outwit, also the lasso. And those are swappable too with the since she's a Wonder Woman, so she can swap them, right? I believe.
That's only with the shifting focus. Wonder Woman, or does the actual equipment have that?
I think it's the equipment.
I'm pretty sure the equipment the equipment has it, and then they also can do a shift thing when they can also shift with her when she shifts. Shifty focus ones. Yeah.
Okay. I forgot about that. That's even more insane.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that I totally agree. I think that Wonder Woman's really good. She's probably I think her and Darkseid, I don't know which one's better for mission points. I think they both really have potential.
Yeah, very different teams, but yeah.
Do they share a keyword actually? Is Darkseid deity or anything?
They're both deity. If she had ruler, that would have been the bee's knees, but she does not have ruler.
All right. Yeah. So Brian, what is your
third
pick for super rares?
Feel a little guilty here. we're going to we're gonna go ahead and name a prime, even though we all agree prime
no.
good. But
Prime
I'm
equals good.
I'm gonna go with the prime Wonder Woman.
Okay.
Just because I think she's really neat and worth discussing a little bit.
Okay.
So
Yeah, because I
she's
think
got
she's getting overlooked by Prime Batman.
yeah.
A
So
little bit.
70 points, cosmic energy, Wonder Woman ally. She is only 5 clicks, so she does seem like she's got a pretty short dial for her cost. But she's got a trait for our past. She can have both the utility belt and the Green Lantern ring assigned and equipped simultaneously. And she has the keywords for both of them, so they are both free to toss on her. Another trait for the Fallen. When a friendly standard character would be KO'd by an opposing effect, after resolutions turn her to click 1, Wonder Woman can use the printed team abilities from friendly characters in your KO area. And lastly, defense special for the future, defend invincible super senses. So she's got Wonder Woman ally. That is a 4 to 6 super senses with a 19 defense up on top dial. She is very hard to hit with a 12 attack, 4 damage side blast. She hits like a truck. And if your opponent does tag her, they better get her down in one go, because if any of your other standard figures get KO'd, she's right back up to top.
Taking the team abilities.
Yep. And the thing I really want to point out is that while she needs a standard character to heal back to the first click, she has the printed team abilities of every character in your KO area. There are a handful of characters out there that can make bystanders with some really neat team abilities. Like for good example, I just had it and now it is gone. Bollocks, and I am forgetting things. Shit.
Yeah,
this is gonna be a
rookie or
rookie's up there. I had a Mystics one and I'm the Chase Black Widow from War of the Realms. Bring out the Lurker. Lurker is Mystics.
Mm-hmm.
So you can run the two of them together, generate out a flurry, high damage Mystics character.
Calm down. No one's running that Black Widow. Stop.
Yeah.
Maybe if I Jason Wingard it and the Lurker gets KO that way. There we go. Okay.
Right. Point being, it's worth keeping an eye out on bystander generators, because some of them have little neat non-copyable effects that you can toss over to Wonder Woman here just by getting them KO'd, and bystanders drop pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely got my eye on her, and I'm probably going to find a team for her sometime in the near future.
No, she's amazing. No,
yeah.
I agree with everything you said. 19. I mean, what equipment isn't good on her? I mean, she wants to play nice with her friends because she has the enhancement. She has the 19 defense. So you can give her Captain Carter shield. So that way now that's a 19 plus 1. You can. Her name is Wonder Woman, so we can do the Wonder Woman equipment that I just remembered and just swap however you want to do it.
Negative Man makes negative spirits that have the Outsiders team ability.
There you go.
Throw a negative spirit into the fray, and then
now she has Outsiders. Yeah.
Yep.
It's crazy. It's crazy good how flexible and how the more imaginative and creative you are, the better this Wonder Woman can be.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for me, my last pick, I am going to go with. Let's see what we have here. I think I'm gonna go with Dexstar.
Ooh.
I really like. I mean, one, I really just like animals.
Yeah.
So does Kazar.
So does Kazar. Yes, so does Kazar. If you ran him on an animals theme team, you can't go wrong with what he does. He's 50 points. He's got hypersonic speed. He's got super senses his whole dial, but he goes all the way up. He's got 6 clicks for 50 points. With 19 defense on the back end of his dial. Battle Fury, his entire dial, so he ignores shape change. He has traded poison, which means that if you equip him with the with the red ring, the red lantern ring, then it's penetrating poison. Also, once he uses it and damages an opposing character, he gets safeguard outwit until your next turn. So then that super sensitive becomes unoutwittable. He's got blades and precision strike on top of that, so he can hypersonic in blades precision strike if you want to. He can hypersonic in blades precision strike, and then because he's a red lantern, he can free action to make a chainsaw, and then flurry blades with the chainsaw. I believe that's free if you share a keyword, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so he can really dish out a lot of damage. And then the next turn, when he's tied up with you, next turn he's now got that penetrating poison that you have to deal with. So I just really like him.
He's just quick, efficient damage. Unfortunately, he can't be carried, but with 8-speed hypersonic, TK being a thing, it's Kazar. It's very easy to mobilize him, get in position, and he could do his own thing with hypersonic blades. And if he has a red ring equipped, free generate a chainsaw, flurry blades right then and there. And if you collected the Wonder Woman 80th set and you got the chainsaw from the Guy Gardner there, the chainsaw from that set actually has a higher attack value versus the chainsaws in this set.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary, man. That's like almost a triple flurry.
And he can use both, right? He can use the one chainsaw and then he can...
Correct.
They are
two different chainsaws. They have two different collector numbers. They have the same name, but they're two different collector numbers and things like that.
Different set, different collector number,
symbols. Yep. So, if one chainsaw goes down, ring, 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 another one comes in, and, sorry, only 10 attack this time, but yeah.
Yeah, so, I didn't even realize he can't be carried, though. That probably makes him a little bit worse on animal teams, where you're running, like, Lockjaw and stuff like that, but still, Kazar's friends with him, so that's really good.
Yeah. It's funny how we went through all the super rares, we made our choices, and one of the big things with the rules change was, Perplex no longer being able to modify damage values, and we have a character who's actually very good in Sinestro, and he was in one of our picks. And not only does he break that rule, he crushes that rule because of the ring and being able to modify it by 2.
Yeah, it's... God, we could have gone over every super rare here. This set is just so many gems.
This would be a 3-hour video.
We didn't even talk about any super rare Batmans, not the Prime or the regular. It's a Batman set. I mean, I really like this.
If we skipped your favorite character, it's not because we don't like it.
Absolutely. Yeah, Cyborg's good. They're all of them are really good. So all right, so I'll put the ones we drafted up on the screen. Just so everybody can view our draft choices. And now let's go into the chases. So let's start with
you.
With me. Let's start with me.
Yep.
Okay. So let's take a look. My first choice for chase would probably be I'm gonna go with Chase Batman.
All right.
I'm gonna go with Chase Batman. You know what? It was between Batman or Scrappy. I actually go with Scrappy. Yeah, I have to go with Chase Scrappy-Doo.
You get to pick one, man. Come on, let's go.
I have to pick one. All right. So let's look at Scrappy. He's 25 points. He's 0 range with single target, 8 speed with charge, 11 attack with super strength, 18 defense with special, and 2 damage with the special. He's a tiny size character. He has a sideline active trait, which is what you really want to look at with him. Is that when a friendly character with a shared keyword of 60 points or less is KO'd, After resolutions, you may generate Scrappy-Doo from your sideline on click number 3 in that character's square. If the KO'd character had the Mystery Ink keyword, you may generate Scrappy-Doo on click number 1 instead. And click number 3 is not much different from click number 1, but you're getting 2 extra clicks of health and an extra point of attack.
And defense.
Oh, and defense, yes. So then he's got a trait. When Scrappy-Doo hits, choose one to last until your next turn. Hit characters can't be given free actions, and hit characters can't gain immobile. That's really good. Just from him hitting, you can take away free actions or making a character immobile so that they have to stay tied up with him. He has a defense power, toughness. Scrappy-Doo takes a maximum of 1 damage from characters with the monster or mystical keyword, protected outwit. You can't really poison him because he's toughness, protected outwit, unless it's penetrating. He's only 25 points, so for 4 clicks with toughness, protected outwit, and then that power against monsters and mystical, that's a really good defense power. And then his damage power is close combat expert and outwit. So he's actually, top dial. He's 12 for 3 with outwit. That's crazy for 25 points.
Yeah.
So, and he can just you can play him on your starting force, or you can sideline him, and then he just comes in from the sideline when something's KO'd. So. Scrappy's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to add there. He's definitely the star of the Mystery Inc. characters, but I think they're all still pretty good. My first choice would be,
they're all really good. Yeah.
Yeah. So my first choice would be Velma. So it comes in either 60 or 40 points. So they all have a sort of pseudo-assert trait, another mystery to solve, which whenever a clue token is placed on a friendly mystery card, they give all Mystery Inc. characters a stat bump. For Velma here, it's a range +1. And then a shared trait they all also have is Elaborate Trap, Sidestep, Force Blast, and then Perplexed, but only to target a character that's been knocked back this turn. Velma's damage special, attempt to put a monkey wrench in this whole operation, is Outwit. When she uses it, choose a keyword or team ability, and until your next turn, opposing characters adjacent to the target that have the chosen keyword or team ability can't use the chosen power. So while she does need to target a character that doesn't have Safeguard Outwit, she can use this to sort of sneak an Outwit onto characters with Power Cosmic or Energy or any other Safeguard effect. Mm-hmm. Just by calling the power, and then everyone just there can't use it either. Yeah, she's cheap. She's solid outwit. She's not the most efficient power racer we have out there, but she is still very good for knocking powers off your opponent. And then it's worth remembering too. Mystery cards. They all get the bump up, and they get you a clue on your mystery card. There's a mystery card out there that rewards knocking back your opponent's figures by giving them damage every time they're knocked back. Run her with that mystery card and the rest of your team, and you can get a win just off of knockback.
Also, Dark Side to Celebrity, too. And these are
that
all
too. They
celebrity.
Yep. Lots of knockback, lots of damage, mission points all happen at the same time, stats getting bumped up. Yeah, she's my top pick of the bunch just because of that outwit, but they are all solid choices.
Yep.
Yeah, and not to mention I think they all have sidestep, and they all have team player.
Mm-hmm.
So they can copy either Underworld or Green Lantern to carry people around.
Yeah, that is a very mobile cluster of Mystery Inc. people just sidestepping each other around the map.
Yep.
Yeah, we're just gonna go, 10 squares for free every turn. Don't sweat it.
All right, so Kenny, what is your chase of choice?
Well, I chose them at common. I'm going to choose them as a chase, and I'm going to go with Fred. I'm going to go with number 57, Fred. 60 or 40 points. I think it's worth the 60 points. You could do fine with the 40-point line, but 60 points is where it's at. He still has the TK. He still has to defend, but now he's up to 19. He's got charge. No more sidestep. He can't carry 4 characters, but he's just giving you a lot of defensive value here for 19 defend. And he has the damage power, which is leadership support as free, but only if an opposing character with a monster or mystical keyword is on the map. It's very thematic, and fortunately, in HeroClix, a lot of people like to play mystical theme teams or have characters with the mystical keyword. And wink, wink, something's happening with support, and it's going to get better. So it's this just does a lot of different things here, makes it better, and it just there's a lot of synergy here. Like Velma, Fred has his own little trait where he can now modify defense, and when you put a clue token, so now you're doing the 19 defend. Now they're getting a +1 if you get a clue token. You play him with Captain Carter's shield, that's an additional +1. We're talking about 21 defense here. Nothing is unhittable, but that's just annoying. Who wants to try to hit a 21 defense? That's obnoxious. Sidestep, Force Blast, Perplex, but only when the character has been knocked back this turn. We talked about how there's synergy with Dark Side, with synergy with that one particular mystery card when it comes to Force Blast. So pretty much when someone does get knocked back, they can just bully you and just lower your defense or lower your attack or whatever it is. Whatever combat value they don't want you to have, they can just make it go away. There's a lot to go on here. Velma's a great choice. She sneaks the outwit. Fred, on the other hand, here he is keeping the team alive, and they just work so well together. We talked about Scrappy-Doo, who has the defense that you can't outwit. Now all of a sudden that could be a 19 or a 20 because of the mystery card and or Fred's defend. And who wants to try to hit a 25-point character with 20 defense? I don't. You're gonna have to, but I don't.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's my love for Fred.
Fred, I think he's great. I mean, he's very similar to the common Fred, actually, because of the defend and the mobility. I mean, especially with the sidestep and the team player. So he can carry people around and defend them, and he also has the TK. So in that way, he kind of works similar to, but he's got a whole bunch of other tricks too. Yeah. So yeah, I really like him. I think all the Freds are good.
All Freds are good. Yep.
Yep.
So if I have
Kenny,
to
you have another choice. So we're doing two chases, not 3. So
Yep. So my next choice would be Chase Robin.
Oh yeah.
25 points. It's funny, you look at him and it's very easy to just get turned off if you just look at the combat values and the powers. He doesn't have attack power. What's going on here? Ooh, boo, boo. But then you read the trait. The Boy Wonder. Once per turn for all characters with this trait, when an adjacent friendly character named Batman is given a move, close, range, or power action, after resolutions, you may give Robin the same type of action as free. That is insane. We were talking about how Brain can do something non-free when being moved, but he still has to be given the action token. This is actually him doing something for free. And it's only for Batman, but there's a lot of Batmans in the game of HeroClix. There will never be a shortage of Batman. And we just had a great chase one that you selected first, Anthony, that is phenomenal. So we're looking at charge. We're looking at close combat extra with 2 damage, which, when it comes to a close attack, that's a 12 attack, 3 damage. So the fact that he can do that for free, just make it close action or a range action and just punch you after he punches you normally for 25 points, that's a lot of damage. Move close range. If he needs to get in a position to base you and get that reflexes in there, he can do so. He also has the police team ability. So even just getting into position for free to help you modify defense down for that range attack, there's a lot of different things you can do with this Robin. Oh, by the way, he's Batman Family keyword, which means he can equip a utility belt for free, which gives him more tools, pun intended, I guess, in his kit of what he can do when you just put all of it together. It's a wonderful way to spend 25 points. I still think Scrappy-Doo is slightly better at 25 points, but if you have Robin, you're not in bad shape either.
No.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right, so Brian, it's over to you for
Yep. Final chase.
final
I
chase.
gotta hand it to Daphne.
Yes,
The
that's a good
so
one.
yeah, the ladies of Mystery Inc. are nothing to sneeze at. So Daphne's another mystery to solve, gives a bonus to attack on all your Mystery Inc. characters, and she's notable for coming in with a 12 attack on top click for 60 points. So I mean, all on her own, she could get that up to a 13 coming in swinging. She's got charge, 3 damage, prob, 18 defense senses, respectable numbers, good powers. Her attack special, take that, is incapacitate, precision strike, and free. Make an attack, but only to target opposing characters with the monster or mystical keyword. As Kenny mentioned, those are very popular keywords. Just about every team's going to have at least one person on there with either monster or mystical. And you give that, I mean, the free attack for 3 damage or incap is nice. It's okay. But slap an equipment on her. We got a whole selection of 20 swords that give blades you can take your pick on. 13 attack blades as a free action is really nice.
Uramasa.
Yeah, Muramasa's great. I mean, she's got celebrity, she's got detective. These are keywords. I mean, celebrity is popular now. Detective is probably unpopular soon. Colony gives her exploit and a bonus to the
Yep.
blades rolls if they share keywords. The Daphne, Assassin Daphne with a sword is something we might see crop up here and there.
Assassin Daphne.
Also, so Brian, correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know actually the current ruling on precision strike. Can you use it
Right.
with multiple targets or?
You can. Yep.
Yes, you can.
She does have 3 targets. So I mean, if you can yeah, she can still multi-target when she takes that free attack. She just has to only target characters with monster or mystical. So I mean, if you get her adjacent to 3 people and you want to do incap all 3 of them or hit them all and just deal them all 1 damage, you could do that. But yeah, I think where it's really going to shine is give her a little bit of equipment that gets her damage value up a bit, and have her just start taking free attacks to tear through people with an inflated attack stat.
If you could find a way, if you want to bypass the monster mystical restriction, give her energy explosion, but make sure you're targeting a monster mystical character that's adjacent to someone that isn't.
That does work too.
That is, that's a free attack. And how you get around that triple target that you could just blow a lot of people up.
Are you sure? Because energy explosion says that they become targets, don't they? Or...
Yep. Become is the strongest possible language in Heroclix. If something becomes a thing, like becomes a target, it will become that thing, even if otherwise illegal or another effect says no.
Oh, okay.
There is right
until they release unbecomes. And then that will, I don't.
Please no, don't put that juju on me. I don't want to have to write that in the rules.
This character cannot be unbecome. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, you can't become a target. It's unbecoming. Yeah.
All right.
I was joking. That's not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that Daphne was going to be one of my choices too. She's really good. So far, you guys are picking the same ones, so I was going to pick. And then my last one would be Batman, because I already picked Scrappy. Batman goes great with Robin. They are buddies. Let's take a look at Batman. So Batman is 50 points. He's 6 clicks long. Batman ally and police team abilities. 5 range with 2 targets. He's got 8 speed with charge, 12 attack with precision strike, 18 defense with combat reflexes, 3 damage with perplex. A lot of value for 50 points, I think. His trait says Bat Family Training. Batman takes a maximum of 1 damage from close attacks, and adjacent friendly characters on their starting clicks take a maximum of 1 damage from close attacks. So that's just good to have him, adjacent to. I mean, it's a pretty simple thing that he does. You keep him adjacent to friendly characters, and it protects them, so it gives them the protection from close attacks. I just see potential in that. I think
he's a real team player, Batman. You have any sorts of free smoke cloud on your team just to make sure he's in hindering everywhere he goes? Your opponents have very little choice but to get up there and just sink an undue amount of attacks into a 50-point character.
Yeah, it acts like a pseudo stop click too, and it makes it so you can't one shot a lot of these characters. You're going to have to double or triple tap. Now take that into consideration with Fred's Descent, with the combat values when you're playing with mystery cards, and the soon to be prevalence of support, meaning it's going to be easy to get them back on their starting clicks, so they just have to do it all over again.
Yeah,
it's sneaky. It's sneaky how the synergy that there is here, and how if you're not prepared or don't know how to handle it, you're going to be caught in a loop here where you feel like you're doing a lot, but you're not gaining any ground, and before you know it, they hit you and you're not healing, or their mystery card is solved and they get this crazy effect and it's over.
Yeah, and also not only that, but he can come with the utility belt, so he can possibly make Smoke Cloud for himself.
Right. He does have to roll every turn.
Yeah, you have to roll for that.
Right. Unless you're getting a string of 6s to keep landing on the same Smoke Cloud effect every time. Not reliable, but it is a thing to keep in mind.
Yeah.
And that utility belt, one of the options there, support and regen.
There we go. So.
Yeah, good choice.
So we ended with Batman in the DC Heroclix Batman team up set. So we ended with Batman in the Batman set. That's been all the chases. I mean, the other honorable mentions for chases. I mean, they're all really good.
We got to talk about Shaggy.
Shaggy's great.
It is very hard to modify damage as easy as it is for this guy to just do it and just say +1 damage for all your Mystery Ink guys, because I got one blue token on my card.
Yeah. Oh no, I used Perplex. Everyone gets +1 damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he has absurd damage output too. You could charge in, and then after the charge attack, do a free flurry on a monster or mystical character. I mean, potentially with 4 damage value on each of those 3 attacks. Yeah. Charging through walls nonetheless.
And if you're playing Daphne, if she just exists on the map, that means you're getting a +1 attack on top of that.
Oh yeah, so 13-4. Charging in, it'd be 4 squares unless Fred's there, and then it's 5. Oh, no, it's Fred's defense. Scooby's the movement one.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, unless Scooby's there. So charge in 5 squares, hit you for 12 total. Yeah, get off the map. Shaggy's feeling hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah, these Mystery Inc. Characters, Scooby-Doo characters are just brutal. I like. The
synergy they have is absurd.
They're trying to solve a mystery: how to beat the living hell out of you. That's they're not looking for clues. They're looking. They're like, yeah. So how are we gonna do this, gang?
All right. So that ends our set review draft. If you enjoyed this video, give me a like and a subscribe. Really appreciate you watching and following my content. I hope you enjoy my content, and go check out all the other set reviews and unboxings and things that we have in the channel. Thank you, Brian and Kenny, for joining me. And don't forget, everybody, wake up and smell the clicks.